I dabble here and there in survival games. I mean, I even have a whole secondary channel oriented around Enshrouded. So when I heard that there was a pirate-themed survival game that was coming out, I just absolutely had to jump onto it immediately. Bought the game, downloaded it, put it in a couple of hours to give a honest, busy dad's first impressions of the game. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are a busy working parent, you gotta do it, or you're going to have to change another dirty diaper or something. So starting out with Windrose, you immediately create a character. No server selection, nothing. Just straight up make your character the way that you want it to look. It's really cool, and it's something that I actually really enjoyed about it, is that it allows your character to look exactly like what you would expect from a pirate, you know? Like someone who also part-time sleeps behind the 7-Eleven. He can be scrawny, covered in tattoos, like little dirt and scuff marks, and, you know, massive scars across his body, which is really cool. It really helps out with that aesthetic. We get a small lead-up story explaining like where we are and what we're doing, and then we meet this doctor. And what's really cool, and immediately the game's a 10 out of 10, you can't get any better than that, is that the doctor gives you coffee. That's the best. The Caffeinated Dad coffee. Game's 10 out of 10. I don't even have to play anymore. They'll log it, cut it right here. Now, the combat early on seems very straightforward, so to speak. Blocks and dodges and timing your attacks. It seems like it's a fine dance. One thing that I really do like is the idea of like the stun bar that's underneath. Like, if you break the stun bar either by parrying attacks or by hacking through, you can stun the enemy briefly, use a big heavy attack, do something like that. I like that. That reminded me a little bit of what Enshrouded does, so that was something really cool to see. But we get a little bit more of the story, and then we die, apparently, or maybe, I'm not sure, and we get teleported to the island. Initially, the UI and the menu seem straightforward, like nothing ridiculously special here, but there is a constant feed of information being given to the player, and especially like what we need to do first to build our base, which we do really just by collecting all the nearby stuff on the floor. And honestly, something that I will say is like, I've actually very much loved the artwork and the aesthetic of this game. Thus far, it has been fantastic. I really, really do enjoy the look of it. It's something that it makes you want to stay a part of the game, you know? Well, starting out, they have us going and hunting a boar because we need to get some leather from the boar. And holy hot damn, the boars hit like a Mack truck. Like, if I take 2 hits, I am dead. My HP is that low and my defenses are that weak. Absolutely wild. And then even worse is like, I kind of accidentally drug him over to my camp. So not only was he attacking me multiple times, he was also spawn camping me. Like, I couldn't escape because this damn boar kept killing me. Well, after some dancing, the boar finally goes down and we get some more information about recipes and how we are unlocking them, which I very much like. I like the idea that it immediately shows you what these recipes can do and what's been unlocked, just bam, and then you can click it and understand it a little bit more. I like being given that information because it's just enough for us to be able to move forward, but it doesn't necessarily like slow us down or hold us back with an overload of information. So the next task that it has is for us to go ahead and craft some boots. Of course, if you're a good pirate, you need to have a good pair of pirate boots, and it requires us to build a workshop. Now, the workshop is really cool. However, you have to build a house around it and place the workshop in it. You can't work off of your workshops unless there's a roof over your head. So I build like this little meager shanty just out of bamboo sticks after gathering some of the stuff that's around. And it does what it needs to. It works. But the real aesthetic about it is that I actually kind of enjoyed it, was that it wasn't just easy. You know, it's a survival game. You kind of want it to be survivally, like you want difficulty. I feel like you shouldn't play survival games if you don't like hardship or difficulty just baked into it. Like, you gotta kind of fight for everything. Well, once that's up, I find that I still need to get a whole bunch more leather, so I go off and hunt some boars. And one thing that I actually really noticed very early on, is just, it's a small note down off in the bottom left, is the comfort level. Again, very much like Enshrouded, the more comfort that you have in any given area, the longer your rested buff stays up, which gives you more stamina. It gives you more stamina regeneration, or it might just do the regeneration. I'm not 100% on that. But the idea is that you want to have more of a comfortable place with things that are going to bring comfort so that your rested buff stays longer, because you need stamina while you're out fighting. And if you start to run out, or you do run out of the buff, without having any kind of other stamina issue or stamina regeneration, it is rough. So after dancing with some of the boars, I get my boots, and now they ask me to go and mine some copper, which is just off on a node that's not too terribly far away. So of course, I mean, it's a survival game. What are you going to expect? You need to have a pickaxe and a logging axe. I think in this game, you later get a shovel. So it's all like wrapped up right there. Just go ahead and grab all the stuff and move on. While I'm out exploring, I find this little ruin, and it's something that I actually very much enjoyed because it's like a point of interest that they put onto the map so that when you do explore it, you can find it and see, oh, okay, that's where I need to go. And in this ruin, there's 3 chests, and if you find all 3, then you get a little bit of extra experience. Not only is it kind of like, hey, go in there and try to find it, but you also kind of have to clear the camp of mobs that are there, and there's a whole bunch of boars and boar sows, or just sows, and they hit hard, and if you're not careful, they'll 100% demolish you. Which, after spending some time here, I got a lot better with the combat very, very quickly, understanding the timing, understanding their attack patterns, and when I have my openings. Again, it's this back and forth. However, I am still very fragile, so anytime that I'm taking damage, or anytime that I mistime it, I get hit, and I get hit hard. And it's something that I constantly have to keep in mind. Well, after clearing up this ruin, I decided, you know what? I can hop on my skiff. Why don't I go ahead and do it? And immediately, one of the things that I very much like about this game, and it's something that I will probably continue to talk about of why it has a pretty decent mark in my book, is the feeling while you're on the water, because you have the wind direction that's coming towards you or going with you that's helping out with your boat's movement. You are actually colliding with each individual wave. There's a physics aspect to it. And then on top of that, they tempt you as you're out there sailing, and then off in the distance you see a item and it's just sitting there. What is it? I don't know. Let's go and do it. My ADHD brain can't walk away from it, so I had to go and explore it. And of course, after a couple of minutes, it was just a box of wood. That's all it was. It was just some extra wood out there, and I was like, damn it. But I like that aspect of exploration. Like, it kind of convinces you or tempts you to go out into the ocean to explore and sail your boat. Love it, 100%. So I get back to base, and the next part of the tutorial says, hey, let's go ahead and craft you a decent weapon. So I try to jam the workshop in underneath where I built my little hut, but this tree's in the way. So I was like, all right, let me knock it down. I knock this tree down, and as it falls, it knocks all of the house that was surrounding this little workshop area down. Completely knocks it down. And it's really cool because they add the physics onto that, so you do have to kind of think of where you were chopping it down and where things are falling. But then on top of that, if you get hit by a falling tree, you will take damage. It can kill you, which, again, it's a survival game. I love that they do that. That is such a good touch. I go back and forth farming some copper, farming some leather and all that, but I do find this one quest that has me going over and digging up a buried treasure. We're a pirate. I would be very upset if in the first 20 minutes of the game or the first couple of hours of the game, I don't get to dig up any kind of treasure. And when we find the chest, we get a little bit of flavor text, and then out spawns 4 zombie drowned creature guys. And again, I made of paper right now, so every hit counts. They knock me down very quickly, and I die on this time. But I come back, and then I plan my attacks a little bit better and wait for them to be grouped up, because I do decent cleave damage. I can hit things in the arc, and everything takes damage. It's not like targeted to one individual attack. So once I figured out that how I can move and dodging their attack patterns and keeping them close, it was no problem. Cleared right all the way through, got some good loot, got some, I believe it was gold and a silver bar, everything's moving forward. Well, I go back and forth because now I created a new sword, now I have to upgrade it, and when I come back, for some reason I upgraded it, left the camp, came back, and then it gave me the boost of completing the tutorial. I finally hit level 2, which is something that I was surprised with, is how long it took me to get to level 2. It took quite a bit. It was a little bit of a grind. I wasn't really thinking about it, but keeping that in the mindset, it might be slow. And then I get progression points, and these progression points allow me to allocate where I want to keep my stats. I'm thinking because I want to play a pirate, I want to be fast, I want to be agile and do like heavy crit damage. So I focus on agility, I focus on critical hits and stamina and overall health. That's where I'll go with that. but I did notice that I didn't get any talent points, which is something that I'm sure I'll have to unlock at some point later down the road. Or maybe it's like every other level you get a talent point. I'm not sure. I'll have to spend more time playing. All right, so I put in a couple of hours. I've gotten a good taste for the initial first impressions, and here's my dad's point of view. So one of the big things that you can tell very quickly with a game is if it's going to value your time and value your expenditure, what little time you may actually have, let me put it that way. And thus far, Windrose seems to be doing very well in that regard. I like that I can create my own little private server. I can create my own little character, and this is mine. It's very much the way that I play Enshrouded. I know that there's a lot of co-op and there's a lot of other capabilities of being able to play with other players. I like the idea of just being able to do the adventure on my own and chip away at it on my own. Now, would it be probably easier if I had multiple players? Of course, absolutely. However, I don't usually have that kind of time to either schedule when I'm going to be able to play, but I like to know that I can just log in, do something for a short spurt, go explore an island, move my boat, move my character back and forth, set up something, and log off. I don't have to feel like I'm dedicating, like I have to allot myself at least an hour of uninterrupted game time, because that's not me. I don't have that capability as a dad, and as a working dad nonetheless. The combat seems really like straightforward, but also punishing. And maybe it's punishing because I don't have enough gear or I'm not high enough level. But the idea of constantly being under the threat of attack and threat of nearly being one-shot is something that I have to kind of keep in the back of my mind when I'm picking enemies to attack. You got to be strategic with how you're moving through. You have to mind your buffs. You have to pay attention. There has to be a bit of strategy aside from just blindly wailing at it, which personally I love because it forces you to think. That makes the game artificially more engaging because of how fragile I am. And I really like that about this. I do like how the story is there. There's a reason of why you're here and what you have to do and where you need to go, but it's not overshadowing the survival aspect, right? Like, a part of the beauty of a survival game is that it's about exploration. It's about fast combat. It's about finding new materials and getting progressively stronger, right? Without dying. And then there's a story that's kind of like loosely guiding you. In my mind, that's great. And Windrose does that perfectly. Like, the story's there. Like, there's elements about it of what your main quest is. But for the most part, you can guide yourself and it's kind of like optional. It's not forced, which I very, very much enjoy. And let me just say, the aesthetic of it being a pirate style survival game is just, I've been so excited looking forward to a pirate survival game for so long. I initially had the idea of like a strong pirate MMO. How would that look? And this is going to be probably close enough in my regard as far as something that I definitely will be sinking quite a few hours in. 100%. It is a lot of fun thus far. I'm very much enjoying it. It seems like I have the capability of controlling my time with it. I'm having a lot of fun. And again, this game's early in early access and it already has a lot of polish. It has a lot of really smart and well done systems thus far. And I plan on playing it more and giving a full dad's review. And, from my point of view, after like 15, 20 hours to get a better point of view for you guys. But just initially, I will say that Windrose is a lot of fun. I think it's currently on sale for like this week for like 25 bucks. If that doesn't really pique your interest, there is a demo you can go ahead and try. It's a lot of fun, I've heard as well. But overall, I would say that this game is going to be one that you might want to pay attention to and you might want to buy from a dad's point of view. Now, I recently went ahead and did a full dad's review of one of my favorite games, one of the games I played all the way as a kid, and you can see that video here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.